must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
The government of Kenya is keen on the development of social economic infrastructure to support the realization of the Big Four agenda and Vision 2030. The ambitious infrastructure projects are aimed at opening up the country for business and bolster productivity, particularly in the agricultural, manufacturing and the service industry, as this would bolster employment opportunities. Part of these critical infrastructure projects include the ongoing 27-kilometer expressway linking Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and Nairobi's Westlands. Upon completion, the expressway will exponentially reduce travel times within Nairobi and thus help the country save man-hours, which is being lost in the traffic jams on a daily basis. The Lake Victoria Port Modernization Project to increase cargo handling capacity of the port and to increase Kenya's bilateral and multilateral trading within the region. The expansion of healthcare facilities to facilitate fruition of the country's universal healthcare coverage under the Big Four agenda. By speeding up movement of people and goods, the government is aiming to promote trading through reduction of travel times and costs. So much for finding time to be with us this morning. It is a Monday, the 8th of March, also known as the International Women's Day today. I'm glad that you could be with us this morning. My name is Miriam Ogotu. The show is Good Morning Africa, and on this show we get to look at the news-making headlines in Kenya by looking at the major newspapers, the Star newspaper, the Standard newspaper, as well as the Daily Nation. And today being a Monday, as usual, a lot of activities over the weekend, especially on our political scene. So we have so much to talk about right now. And joining me on the panel this morning is Musa Abdi Haji from Isiolo County. Musa, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning, Miriam. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Okay, very well. Nice to have you this morning. And also, we are joined by Douglas Kirimi all the way from Meru County. Douglas, good morning. Okay, so as Douglas works up his, technology there to join us, I shall just quickly look at the news headlines this morning. And on the Star newspaper, Uhuru's night call that calmed Raila aborted. ODM leader Raila Odinga had planned to go back to his Kibra bedroom to discuss BBI politics. A call from his handshake partner froze the plans. On the eve of his third anniversary, the pact may require more than just a call, and the story is on page 4 and 5 of the Standard newspaper. Then up there, revealed teachers to get better salaries under CBC. I think that will be a good thing for our teachers. And also COVID-19 1 year on, how Africa was spared the grim projections. And then on the headline on the Daily Nation, the main headline there says Mudavadi Moi factor in 2022 plot. Succession. ODM leader Raila Odinga's allies have alleged a plan by State House operatives to scuttle the handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta by supporting the ANC and KANU leader for the presidency in next year's general election. And then down there, what grade 4 tests look like. And up there, blow to Raila as Kaya elders support Joho Kingi, a push for coast political party. And then the Star newspaper, the main headline there, Musalia's entry at the center of handshake feud. The Sacred Alliance bringing together Mudavadi, Gideon, Kalonzo and Wetangula is reportedly being propelled to sideline Raila. That is the main headline there on the Star newspaper. And spoiler, PS Kibicho accused of sabotaging Raila Uhuru Pact. And then up there says the ins and outs of Kenya's COVID-19 vaccine rollout plan. Then just beside the main headline there, CS Kenya Power MD summoned over blackouts. Energy CS Charles Ketero and Kenya Power MD Bernard Nguge have been summoned by senators on Tuesday over the perennial power outages across the country. Vihiga Senator George Haneri has sought a statement lamenting about power outages in his home county. Okay, that will be interesting. Now I want to hear why we have all these blackouts, especially in our villages. I hear the power there can go and come back after a week. Muturi installation fells confusion on Uhuru succession. That is also another story. And then security lapse as motorist drives into State House. Okay, now that sounds like a suicide mission there. But I'll just start with Musa this morning. We start with... all right, the Standard newspaper, Uhuru's night call that calmed Raila. And I don't know what you make of all these things that we've been seeing playing out there, especially the ODM members. Some of them have come out strongly making these claims. What would this mean, especially for the handshake?
Miriam, I'm still working on my audio. I will be back soon.
All right. So we do have Douglas.
Yes, Miriam, thank you.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. And we do have also Jevan this morning. Jevan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, so the main headline this morning, Uhuru's night call that calmed Raila. And I think we talked about it yesterday. What do you make of the latest development in terms of what we've been seeing and the fallout that might now seem to threaten the handshake? Is the handshake threatened right now?
No, Miriam, the handshake is still intact. And the handshake is strong than ever before because, Miriam, the pull and push that we are having today makes Kenyans to see the importance of having the handshake in the first place. Miriam, the tension and the panic mood that was in the country when some members of ODM, led by Senator Orengo, said that they might be preparing to pull out of handshake was something that was not quite well in the country, and I could see the panic. Therefore, this, in my own opinion, made Kenyans to see why we need to have a united country to avoid those kind of surprises when political players think that they hold this country at their hands and they can do whatever they want. We want a country whereby even if politicians fall out, we Kenyans, we remain intact, we Kenyans, we remain on with our business. That is a country that the BBI is determined to have. Therefore, Miriam, I feel the handshake is still on, and unless we get the information from President himself or former Prime Minister himself that the handshake is officially over, then these other people, they will just make noise. Miriam, if there are people who are determined to ensure the handshake falls, is the people calling themselves Tangatangas. For a period of 3 years, Miriam, they have been dismantling the handshake. They have been going around the country preaching a falsehood about the handshake. They have tried all means to ensure that the handshake does not reach where it is today. But to their surprise, the handshake is still intact. I don't see anybody else, Miriam. If the Tangatanga, the deputy president, were unable to destroy the handshake, nobody else will. Because for 3 years, Miriam, if they could not make it, we have 1 year to a general election. I don't think that the likes of Robert Alai and Senator Orengo will make it. But all said and done, Miriam, the issue that they have is having civil servants as spearheading the BBI. I think that is a very good move because, Miriam, at the end of the day, let a BBI be a Kenyan's document. Let it be spearheaded by politicians, civil servants, the clergy, and everybody else, Miriam, who wants this country to be united. Let it not be a politician's affair, because that is where they get chance to milk this country dry. That is where they get chance to eat some few coins that were meant for the copies of the BBI. That is why maybe some of them are worried. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. Musa, I don't know if you're able to speak now. Okay, then I'll go to Douglas. What do you make of this headline? And is the handshake a threat? Remember tomorrow.
Yes, Miriam, I'm audible now.
Please, can you fix those things before we start, because it's interfering with the broadcast. I'll urge you to do that before we start, please, next time. I'll just go to Douglas there. Douglas, the headline today, and we saw what James Orengo said the other day, is the handshake at stake here?
Thank you, Miriam. And also we need to understand that, yes, I would accept this morning that there are simmering tensions around the handshake. But now, as I said earlier, yesterday, is that this handshake has had hoax, and the people who have gone ahead and also have tried to bring tensions in the handshake. We saw Orengo speak the other day, and also he has spoken yesterday, and we have seen also bloggers that are affiliated to some of these politicians from the opposition. And also we have seen people from the other side of government also try and talk. But at the end of the day, when we hear Junet Mohamed talk about Kibicho trying to get into the heart of the BBI and also try to take over the process and also try to scuttle the whole process, it is a fallacy, and also it is very wrong for these politicians to think that this pet project from President Uhuru Kenyatta would not have been used by the president and also people that he trusts so that he can be able to get it done. Remember, Miriam, there is no way Junet would have come to a Meru station or a Kikuyu station trying to sell BBI to the people of Mount Kenya. It had to take one of their own to go and own up the process, and that person who took responsibility amongst many civil servants from the region is none other than PS Kibicho and others. So for me, it is true that there are simmering tensions under the umbrella of handshake. Towards the third anniversary of the handshake, we have problems today, and we have to accept the truth that this year, Miriam, is going to be very testy year for the BBI and also for the handshake. But we hope that the president himself and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga will have a conversation that gears towards bringing this country together and also bringing to an end those simmering tensions. Remember, Orengo speaks from one side of the handshake or from one side of the opposition, where he supports the Right Honorable Raila Odinga because for his own political expediency and also for the NGO world. So there are people, there are folks who went into the handshake from the president's side and also from the opposition's chief side and also tried to bring these tensions. And I hope the president can be able now to bring the ship back into line, so that we can be able to bring the conclusion of the BBI process, and also so that we can be able to bring our country together. And also, Miriam, to remind the opposition people who have been saying the president is waiting for a day to endorse the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. This BBI process is not about 2022. Anyone that is hoping to get endorsed after the BBI, actually, Raila Odinga himself said in a national television, after the BBI, everyone now will have now to pursue their own cause. President will have to pursue his own cause for a legacy, and also the Raila maybe will chat away for his own party. So that, Miriam, we can stop these simmering tensions that we are having today, that these people want to leave the handshake. They can leave the handshake when we have done the process and also the referendum. But at this juncture, Miriam, anyone that wants to bring these simmering tensions in the handshake should be dealt with, and also these issues should be able to be brought on the table. And they should talk as gentlemen, like they talked 3 years ago, so that we can move forward. Because by tomorrow morning, Miriam, this handshake will have crocked 3 years in place, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay, very well. And tomorrow we should have that conversation 3 year on. How has the handshake been faring on? But as you speak right now, Musa, is the handshake at stake here?
Thank you, Miriam. I think the question is very clear, and I made it to everyone earlier, Miriam, about the role the elites and these, ruling class are playing, Miriam. I predicted this very well. I think all the panelists and the listeners will recall me when I raised a very important question about, indeed, Raila Amolo Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta might have a good intention for this document to move forward. But the question I asked Miriam in this panel, there shall be a sabotage not far from any or either of political class or a civil servant class, Miriam. And already we've seen that nemesis of sabotage being underway in either way, because there is something which, the other side of the opposition have been complaining, as long as, the genuinity and the true intention of this document is concerned. And now the question has been raised, Miriam. You've seen the newspaper saying, the last night, the night call that came Raila Amolo Odinga. In politics, Miriam, calls will only postpone. It cannot calm you completely. And so what I foresee here, I'm not trying to be pessimist, but in another occasion of typical African politics, in other occasion of typical sabotage in African politics, Miriam, I am seeing not the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, not Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta sabotaging the document, but I'm seeing now the so-called deep state, people who are good at interchanging things, people who are good at excluding things, Miriam. It has happened before. I think my fellow panelists are aware of what happened in the WACO draft of 2005. And when the WACO draft was pushed forward, Miriam, you remember very well when the meeting was held at Naivasha, how the document was interchanged in the favor of the deep state and some people who are really allied in ensuring, things favor them. So even this one, let it be amber light, Miriam, amber warning. If things are not going to be taken care of well, I don't know, I cannot mention those senior civil servants because I don't have evidence or their names. But I've said it before, Miriam. This document is not going to be sabotaged by Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Amolo Odinga. These are people of goodwill. We might understand their intention, but the darker side of the things, Miriam, will always come from the people who will try to purge for what should be excluded and what should be included. And this is what I'm seeing. This is already a delay, Miriam, and that is my foresee.
Okay, very well, thank you so much, Musa Abdi. We're also joined by Professor Jared Onyari this morning. Professor, very good morning to you and welcome to the show. Okay, Professor is joining. Once he's able to join, then we can continue.
Yeah, I'm here. I've given you a salute, Miriam.
Okay, all right. Good morning. Karibu sana.
Good morning to you.
Yes, so is the handshake at stake?
Can you imagine internet economy?
Is the handshake at stake, Professor?
Miriam, I did pronounce myself yesterday. I personally don't know about the handshake. You don't know the handshake. Neither anybody else knows about the handshake. Apart from the Prime Minister and the President for the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Unless there are signals or message from their side, then Miriam, from where I sit, the handshake is secure. The 9.9 point agenda have been captured in a document. We have walked this channel, Miriam, that we cannot come to sabotage it when we are almost there, Miriam. I have said before, and I want to reiterate the words of the Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, that divorce the handshake PBI from 2022 generations. Uhuru has himself said that they did not discuss 2022 generations. Raila has pronounced himself the same. Who are we? Where are we getting these peace bodies talking about that they want to sabotage the engineer Raila Amolo Odinga from becoming the president for this republic? Which elections are you talking about, Miriam? We are having 1.5 years. So at the moment, Miriam, let us do what we call FIFO. First things first. That's what we are concentrating, Miriam. And now, Miriam, we are so much focused. The bill has already been tabled before the National Assembly and the Senate. There is public participation, Miriam, which is going on, and we will be going for the referendum, Miriam. So sometimes, Miriam, when people go to war with a lot of expectations, Miriam, when you lose the war, you should also be prepared, because who tells you that when you enter war to go and win? So what happened in Matungu and Kabuchai, they should not be able to blame the civil servants. Why haven't they blamed the civil servants in what happened in London Ward in Nakuru? Why have you seen anybody blaming what happened in Kiamukama in Kisii County? Why haven't you seen someone complaining what happened in Erisgate, Naivasha? Why haven't you seen anybody complaining what happened to Ruma Ward in Eldoret, Miriam? So, Miriam, some of the politicians, Miriam, they must find something to talk, but let us be focused. Let us be very supportive to the President and the Prime Minister, so that we can be able to see that the referendum BBI going through. Because if we succeed with BBI, Miriam, it is taking Kenya forward.
Okay. Very well. So on the front pages of the Daily Nation, Mudavadi Moi factor in 2022 plot. ODM leader Raila Odinga's allies have alleged a plan by state operatives to scuttle the handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta by supporting the ANC and KANU leader for the presidency in the next year's general election. This alliance here, does it have any sort of bearing to what we expect in the coming days, Javen?
Miriam, let me say that in 2022, we'll have a number of presidential contestants. It is not a matter between Raila Amolo Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto, but a number of Kenyans who feel and who meet the constitutional requirement to run for the president office. They will declare their presidential ambitions, and if the IBC clears them, then they will be on the ballot. And that will be upon Kenyans to make their choice. But Miriam, what we are seeing now, we have a third force, let me call it a third force, because William Ruto is not in that group, neither former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And the face in this coalition is Musalia Mudavadi and Gideon Moi. I think they might be offering alternative to the presidential race 2022. But Miriam, what we have today, when you look at things and you look at the crowds and you look at all the factors, Miriam, you'll see that the 2022 presidential bid, if Raila Amolo Odinga will be on the presidential ballot, Deputy President William Ruto has already declared his presidential ambitions. It will be a two-horse race between Raila Amolo Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto, unless one of them ascends his presidential ambitions and maybe sits back and maybe be a kingmaker at that moment, then that is when we will see the likes of Musalia Mudavadi and Gideon Moi coming out quite big. Unless Raila Amolo Odinga says Musalia Tosha or Gideon Moi Tosha, then that is time that we can see them becoming a force.
Okay.
But for now,
For now, you don't see that happening. And of course, this alliance is what appears Kibicho is being accused of supporting. The story is on page 4 of the Daily Nation inside the plans to hand power to Moi. University of Nairobi political commentator Herman Manyora said the alliance will have it rough against DP in 2022. None of them can beat William Ruto, not Gideon Moi, not Musalia Mudavadi, not Kalonzo Musyoka. Ruto will take a holiday to come back to be crowned president. For now, Uhuru's only fighting chance is Raila Odinga. There is no way any of these other people, even if supported by Raila, will beat Ruto. That is according to Manyora. Douglas, is he right in his assertion there?
Miriam, these assertions from political analysts, we make a mistake, and I've always held this position that we keep making a mistake and also saying that it can only take this and this to beat this kind of a politician in a political arena and all that. Remember, in 2009, 10, 11, and actually before 2012 immediately, we were never treated to a presidency that is headed by President Uhuru Kenyatta. We were told that Saitoti is running a powerful secretariat led by Professor Kagwanja. All these political analysts were telling us how ICC is going to jail President Uhuru and all those things. Some things, Miriam, like the president says, just leave them to God. Someone like Jeban Karanja can wake up from Nanyuki and go around this country and win presidents in this country, Miriam. Again, pitting a fighting chance between the president and the deputy president of Raila and others. Miriam, these things cannot be able to work. Remember, these are politicians that have been here in 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010. Now we are in 2021. These are the same faces that we are having here, Miriam. We need to be very clear that anyone can be president. What we have created in this country is a situation where Professor Orekiapi can become president, Abduba Dida can become president. And also, Miriam, we should not keep writing to William Ruto that he is fighting between this and this. Anyone can wake up and Kenyans decide this person is the one that we shall give our mandate to leaders. And the president cannot be able to control that, Miriam. So what I'm looking at is a scenario of a third force, and that third force may not be what they are trying. Manyora is trying to write to William Ruto that he has a fighting chance between him and Raila and all that. These things, Miriam, we need to leave them to God and the voters in this country. Maybe people can be able to come out like Professor Jared Onyari and run for president in this country. I will not buy that kind of a line because, Miriam, Raila is a force. Raila is a former prime minister, and also the deputy president has been a deputy president for 8 years. Those are forces, and also Kalonzo Musyoka of this world and others. But Miriam, we cannot rule out a possibility of another Kenyan becoming president simply because these big fights are around here. So Miriam, my opinion is that we need to leave these things to God, because in as much as we'll keep writing to William Ruto that he is fighting against Raila, and the next morning we realize that Raila is not on the ballot, another person is on the ballot. In 2010, as Professor Saitoti was told, this seat is yours to take. But we never saw Professor Saitoti on the seat. So Miriam, at the end of the day, my opinion remains that we can have a third force in this country. The people of Kenya can decide that enough is enough. We need to have a Mwai Kibaki moment in 2002 and elect another person, Miriam. Okay. These positions, the president position and every other position in this country, there is nowhere people sat down and decided that in 2022, it will be Raila versus William Ruto. No, Miriam. We need to be able to give Kenyans a room to be able to elect their own leaders. This agenda setting in our political shows should be stopped, because, Miriam, people are taking advantage of Kenyans. Why would you pit Raila and William Ruto against these other people? There is another Kenyan that can stand for president and win, Miriam. Thank you.
Very well. And the Constitution allows for that as long as you meet the threshold. But I want to know from you, Musa Abdi, these three, I think four, that will be Musalia Mudavadi, Gideon Moi, Kalonzo Musyoka, as well as ANC leader. What is his name? I'm forgetting. But according to Manyora, they're saying this team is not formidable enough to give Ruto a run for his money, assuming Raila will not be part of the matrix. Are we underestimating these leaders?
Unfortunately, Miriam, even if he's one of the professors I respect, unfortunately, these are kind of the political analysts we have in this country. People who believe that ethnicity can take you anywhere. I'm really sorry for that professor. I've never followed him, and I'm really sorry. If indeed a political analyst, Miriam, can think, you know, we are young people. Douglas is a young man. Javan is my fellow young man. Professor Onyari is advising us here like an elder. And when I see all the time, Miriam, I've been complaining about the role of media, Miriam, the role of media in disposing the truth. Professor Herman Manyora is not a professor of political science, Miriam. That is as far as I know. He's the professor of communication. If we have a political professor, someone like Professor Onyari, to be brought to discuss issues on national media, Miriam, these are professors who know what they want to do. But look at Professor Herman Manyoras and other political analysts we see in our mainstream media, Miriam. These are people who are driven by monetary values and they are driven by sheer sense of capitalism, Miriam. I'm not lying to you. So whatever Herman Manyora has said, it has nothing to do with the true reflection of what is happening on the ground as far as Kenyans are concerned.
So what is the true reflection, Musa?
This is my humble submission, Miriam.
Go ahead.
As far as my analysis is concerned. The Luya community are the second most populous community in this country. They have their votes. You speak of Moisa Kitui, we know he's a good guy. Musalia is good. Gideon Moi, he has his political ambition. The moment the mainstream media will stop saying this is a two-horse race, Miriam, that is the time even the will and the popular opinion of Kenyans will change. Why can't we have people are saying Mohamed Abdu Badida will be finishing number mwisho? I remember in 2013. People are shocked, Miriam, when that guy came back and he was number 4, defeating the likes of Musalia Mudavadi and you know, key kingpins or like Paul Muite, Miriam. So my submission here is any political alliance can be fit to go for election as far as you are a Kenyan, Miriam. It's all about alliance. It's all about your strategy. And look at the kind of voters we have, Miriam. The kind of voters we have come 2022. The highest number of voters are going to be youth. And the most confused element of voting pattern in this country have been youth. I know we've been deluded so much by two political kingpins and, you know, issues of money and violence. But Miriam, what I believe here is, if we really want to intend and have a good discourse on politics of, ideological politics of, you know, substance, politics of, you know, issues and, you know, progress and views, then I think even issues where Professor Herman Manyora and other people have been asserting that these are two-horse race should be put aside, Miriam.
Okay.
I want to see, I'm envisaging one day, my vision is that you don't have to be a horse for you to be a presidential candidate. You just need to be a Kenyan, Miriam. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And it's interesting that you brought up the issue of Mukisa Kitui because, and you know, him and anybody else who wants to run should be accorded, you know, the same manner of, I guess, respect and support as long as they qualify and they meet that threshold according to our constitution. But this is what the Sunday Standard, I left it here so that we talk about it today. Yesterday, we were not able to talk about it. On just after the main headline up there says, Embrace Uhuru Raila, Mukisa tells West new beginnings during a homecoming rally in Bungoma. The former UN agency boss asks leader allied to Tanga to turn back since the president and ODM leader hold the keys to power. So even himself, he thinks, as much as I want to run for the presidency of this country, there are two people right now that hold the keys to power. That is according to Mukisa Kitui. Professor, this alliance, should it give a headache to the main front runners there?
Miriam, I don't buy that idea. I will never buy it. I'm not persuaded to buy it, Miriam. I will want to go by Douglas. That the presidency will be decided by the people of Kenya. Moi tried in 2002. Where did we reach? Kibaki and East Deep State tried in 2013. Where did we go? At the fullness of time, the people of Kenya will decide. Will decide who becomes their leader. From where I sit, that's what I have to say. But again, if you want to succeed, Miriam, because you want to become a leader, don't be antagonistic. If you want to take Kenya forward and Kenyan to see you and history to record you properly, Miriam, and give you a fair place, support the president and the prime minister. Because the 9-point agenda they have identified, the BBI they have come with, Miriam, it takes Kenya forward. I think from that point is what I think Dr. Mukisa Kitui wanted to pass across.
Mm-hmm.
But neither President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, neither the Prime Minister will decide who becomes the next president for this republic, Miriam. And if anything, Miriam, if I have to go to side Miriam, of late I have become to be an admirer. People I know they will say all manner of things. I've become to be an admirer of Gideon Moi. He's a son of the former president, Daniel Moi. But the way he has been going around and packaging himself, Miriam, he does not insult anybody. He talks message of uniting the country together. This is what we want to see in a leader, Miriam. Politics of confrontation does not take you anywhere. Politics of intimidation and threats. I didn't like yesterday what happened in Kibra, Miriam. Threatening people that you can go on the streets and start demonstrating. It is for who? Or for who? Miriam, there is nobody who is a monopoly of violence. When we enjoy peace like the way we are doing, Miriam, it is good for everybody. So, Miriam, from where I sit, Musa, Javan, yourself, Douglas, and the people of Kenya will decide who will be sitting in the house in the hill next year.
Okay.
And Miriam, let me tell you, the Spirit of God tells me that you are yet to see the leader emerging. I'm trying to tell you, Kenyans are tired of the faces you are seeing around. So, Gideon Moi, Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula have got every right to make the alliance. As we can decide today with Douglas and Moses and Musa and Javan, we can come with our alliance. Who can stop us? And let not anybody underrate anybody else, Miriam. Don't. Wait for BBI to go through, and then Miriam, I will tell you, will be the following day.
Okay, and we shall be here waiting, and then we'll talk about it. And Professor, you brought up something there about what happened yesterday in Kibra. But before that, there is something that Senator for Siaya, James Orengo, said on Saturday. I'd like for us to take a listen that really has prompted this conversation we're having right now, and then we shall continue with talking.
As Uhuru and Raila are talking about BBI, there's a cabal, and I'm saying this without a fear of contradiction. There's a cabal inside government who are busy trying to chart the way how Kenya will be ruled in 2022. Civil servants have no business at this time, when we have got the Big Four agenda, wherever they sit, to discuss and debate on a weighty political objective of how the succession is going to take place. And we saw it during Kibaki's time, even during the first Kenyatta's time. I urge these civil servants to be compliant and obedient to political institutions and constitutional institutions. Because what we have witnessed in the last 3-4 months, and I'm talking as somebody who have seen how government works, whenever civil servants who are part of a cabal try to chart the destiny of a nation for their own personal interests, there can never be any peace. So this is just a warning shot. because we are going to expose these people. They are trying to derail us. They have already declared in their mind who is going to rule Kenya next year. And I'm telling them, you are reaping where you have not sown. You are reaping where you have not sown. Without Raila Odinga, you could not be planning that issue of succession. So listen to these two principles, Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. And Otiende Amolo and my colleagues in Parliament, we must expose a civil service that is doing politics. Even in BBI, they have led to the closure of the secretariat so that they run the BBI project from government offices which are not given that authority. That we had, it was Professor Anyang' Nyong'o of Kisumu and Kiraitu Murungi who are leading the process of the referendum. I therefore hope that this thing is going to be taken seriously so that these institutions, the way they are behaving, even in elections, you've seen how elections have been held this year. That cannot be an election. And I'm sure if any of these elections were to be taken through a court of law, Otiende Amolo would be a witness. On account of what has happened, on an election day there should be peace, not violence. And the violence in Matungu and everywhere has been generated by these forces within the government. And they must be exposed. Because they had interest in Matungu, they had interest everywhere. But at least in Kisii, we defeated their interests and ODM won.
All right, that is Siaya Senator James Orengo there, statements he made. And there's a part there that we're not able to play, but it was captured yesterday on the Sunday Standard. So let me just read that so that we see what else did Orengo say there. I want to state that the relationship between Raila and the president is formidable and still intact. And if someone or some state orderlies want to scuttle it for their own political mischief, then let them be warned that Kenya may slide into anarchy again. They better watch out. And Professor, well, you're talking about politics of threat. I just recalled that part, and perhaps that part there. That is a threat to the peace of this country.
Yes, Miriam. Mm-hmm. The question I ask myself: Senator James Orengo is speaking under what capacity? He's not the spokesman for the Prime Minister. He is not the architect of the handshake, Miriam. You know, as I do. Dr. Masanga rightly put it here now that that there is a touch in ODM who catches the Prime Ministers here. The Orengos did not take it very kindly when they see Junet going to a ramp house together with the Prime Minister, and even ending the speech which the Prime Minister read at the steps of Arambe House, Miriam. So from what I want to say, Miriam, yeah, he's even saying that the Secretariat, the PPI, Miriam, does not belong to any section of the people of Kenya. It belongs to all people of Kenya. We cannot say that the Secretariat must be able to handle the PPI alone. We must work in partnership and in synergy, Miriam. And at the end of the day, Miriam, you can't ignore the Ministry of Interior and the coordination. Can you? It coordinates all the activities, Miriam, including the BBI. At the end of the day, Miriam, when they will be moving around, they will be requiring security. So, Miriam, people are looking at excuses. And Miriam, let me tell you, from where I sit, I can see the hand of the deputy president and Eastman working. Because nobody has said, Miriam, how can someone saying that you are undermining the handshake? Undermining the handshake, how? What was the purpose of the handshake, Miriam? It identified 9-point agenda. Mm-hmm. It identified corruption. It identified divisive erection, Miriam. It identified inclusivity. It identified devolution, Miriam. It identified shared prosperity, Miriam. So, Miriam, where does Kibicho and the rest of the Minister of Interior comes in, Miriam? So, Miriam, unless they are telling us there is more than the handshake we know. But the handshake we know, Miriam, is secure, is intact, and if the James Orengo and others, they want to join the no campaign, please do it in a decent way. Don't just go down with people, just using an excuse that you want to run it. And let me tell you, Miriam, if PBI is going to go through, so many people are going to be casualties. Do you know how? Why? People want to build a euphoria, which they will thrive on to be elected. These people, they doesn't want. Miriam, let me tell you, the people who don't even want the prime minister to be the president of of this country, Miriam, are the likes of Senator James Orengo. History vindicates us. They have survived simply because they joined the prime minister.
All right,
so
all right,
they,
Professor.
Yes. They want to put out, create a euphoria for them to be elected in 2022.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. And yes, if you could go by the history, they've not been the best bosom buddies there. Senator for Siaya and Raila Odinga, they've had some in-runnings in the past there before, and they've had quite an interesting political relationship there. Quickly, as we conclude, Jeff, and this statement, part of it that was made by Mr. Orengo, saying that any political mischief, then let them be warned that Kenya may slide into anarchy again. Why would anybody with a clear head like James Orengo stand up in a public event and think this is a right thing to say?
Miriam, that is so unfortunate, especially when it comes to the people we call SC, Senior Counsel James Orengo. And, these are men we expect to carry himself with dignity and to be the least person to talk of anarchy or violence in this country, because he's a person we expect to be in the corridors of justice, standing with Kenyans who may be the victims of those kind of occurrences. No, he can't be on the center stage of those kind of utterances. But Miriam, said and done, James Orengo, what they have a problem with is the BBI secretariat that, from the information that we are getting from him, was disbanded, was banned. I don't know what happened. The problem they have is civil servants spearheading the BBI. Miriam, in Mount Kenya region, the person and the man who has made the people of Mount Kenya region, apart from President Uhuru Kenyatta, realize the importance, the contents of BBI is none other than PS Karanja Geficho. He has been going around in all media, local stations, ensuring that Kenyans understand the contents of the BBI. That is the problem they have, because Miriam, through that secretariat, that was a channel for them to get money. And if the channel was blocked, Miriam, they must bring some kills. Who said that BBI is a politician-owned document? These are documents of all Kenyans, and they will be spearheaded by all Kenyans, Miriam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you were to go by his statements, they're public servants and not supposed to be involved in the BBI. Those are the same issues I think Kina Ruto and the camp were raising, so Senator. But that last part of his statement there, threatening chaos, and if this and this is not done, then the country might slide into anarchy. And owing to a very recent history there, some Kenyans have not even recovered from the violence that we've seen. Because when you talk about anarchy, that to me that is what it means. How would you urge our leaders to be a bit more careful, when they're in public and they're making such utterances, and to understand that their words have impact? There are people there who support Raila, and we know Raila diehard, like that those who are diehard, supporters of, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and when they hear things like this, they tend to take a lot of these things very literally. So how would you advise our leaders to behave when they're making a certain, public utterances there, Musa? Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. I think I will be going for my humble submission as far as this is concerned. And to make it clear, Miriam, in this question is that the question of succession politics as Dr. Professor Onyari has put it, remains with the will and the supremacy of the Kenyans, Miriam. And when I see politicians, we know Kenyan politics has always been determined, Miriam, by alliances. It has always been determined by ethnic affiliations. It has always been determined by who has much, in terms of millions they campaign with. And the question comes, the reason why, and I will submit today on this panel, the reason why some numbers of Kenyans are having dissatisfaction about BBI is not because it comes from Raila Amolo Odinga or Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, or is it because it is opposed by William Ruto? No, Miriam. The Kenyans who oppose this document, and I will make it clear, they oppose it because of the faces who are purporting to represent this document, Miriam. Look at the political leaders we have now. Instead of going on how referendum shall be conducted, all of them are after one alliance to the other, to the other, to the other. Be it Musalia, be it Gideon, be it Muisa Kitui, be it Kivuda Kibwana. Look at the leaders who are the face of this BBI, Miriam. The president and Raila Amolo Odinga are not talking about it. But now you are seeing even civil servants having an interference in this, Miriam. So it is very critical. Personally, if today maybe I'm going to oppose BBI, for example, I'm not going to oppose because William Ruto tells me to do so. I'm not going to oppose because I hate Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga or any other person. Some Kenyans are going to oppose this document or say no, not because of any bigotry, but because of the face representing this document, Miriam. Look at Orengo. Professor Onyari has spoken about him. If indeed you are remorseful, if indeed you are diplomatic, if indeed you are mature politically, then you could not have called people to Kamukunji in the name of threatening. Okay. Are you threatening us as this country? We've been living in peace since 2008. You want to get us back to that anarchy? It is impossible. So Miriam, my humble submission to this panel and even to President Uhuru Kenyatta and his team, if they are listening to this, for those who are listening to this TV and watching them, is that let there be reincarnation as far as the face representing BBI is concerned, Miriam. We have a lot of people who have doubt in their background, in their leadership ideologies, people who are now coming to State House in the name of Musalia Mudavadi and Gideon Moi and other people who are looking for 2022 rather than Miriam in 2021. That is constitutional, amendment.
Okay. Thank you so much. Douglas, conclude for us such statements there that Senator made. And we know that the core of this BBI and the handshake is the unity of Kenya. And Orengo is one of the key people who have been there championing for this and supporting the BBI. But when he comes out and makes such statements, does it not contradict the whole thing? Because unity, and a peaceful Kenya is part of it. But now you're threatening the country with such utterances.
Miriam, I'm on record saying that Orengo does not mean well for this country. This is a man who has made his money fighting on the trenches. His wife works for the NGOs. When they keep shouting about, in NGO world, when you keep shouting about chaos and anarchy and all that, you're called a human rights defender and you are funded to do those things. And again, they keep sabotaging Raila for their own expediency, political expediency. And at the end of the day, Miriam, taking this country, including Miriam, I want to bring the possible scenario. If Douglas Kiremi and Professor Jared Onyari were the leaders of the BBI today, and by bad luck, Douglas perishes today, does it mean this country will not move forward, or this country will just slip into anarchy because it is Professor Onyari who has been left alone in this race? The question, the most logical and the most sensible thing to do as a country is to move forward without Douglas. And Miriam, at this point, Orengo threatening that this country is going to go into anarchy. Have we ever seen his children and wife going to demonstrate and those things that we have seen them do over the years, and they use the opposition supporters to go and demonstrate across this nation? It saddens my heart, Miriam, when people like Orengo, a senior counsel, a senior lawyer in this country, tells us that and threatens that if this BBI is not done according to his whims and the qualms, that this country is going to end into anarchy. Does it mean if I am the leader of BBI together with Professor Jared Onyadi and by bad luck I perish, that this country is going to fall into anarchy because Douglas is no longer there, a man that was the face of BBI? Miriam, at this point, including if Raila Odinga disagree with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, as the people of this country, we need to also decide our fate. The fate of this country is not under the President of the Republic of Kenya or Raila Odinga. Nobody shall hold us as the people of this country under ransom. The only thing that we owe the President is that he is the symbol of national unity. He is the leader of this nation, he is the end of state, and he is the President. Simple. Raila is just a leader of opposition. So nobody shall use the name of the Raila Odinga or President Uhuru Kenyatta to hold this country at ransom, Miriam. It saddens my heart as an ordinary Kenyan. Orengo, a man who lives in a life of opulence, trying to tell us, a second-term senator, a very long-time serving member of Ugenya, telling us as the people of Kenya, we are going to end into anarchy. We know when anarchy comes into this country, his wife, Betty Murungi, is not going to suffer the consequences. His sons are not going to suffer the consequences. Our leaders should resist from what they are trying to do today. Nobody shall hold the president into a ransom. Nobody shall hold this country at ransom, Miriam, because of political expediency. If this BBI, the president wakes up tomorrow and thinks that this should not continue, and Raila should not continue being his handshake partner, this country moves forward, Miriam. Because, Miriam, we have placed so much premium on BBI, as if BBI, if this referendum fails, as if this BBI fails tomorrow, as if the president changes his mind, this country cannot continue, Miriam. Okay. We earned the 20 times the constitution that we are using today. We have continued as a nation. And as I conclude, even the Lancaster constitution that we earned, the independence constitution, Miriam, it came and went, and the country of the Republic of Kenya remains. Orengo should stop threatening the people of Kenya using BBI. If BBI fails, it fails because it was a project that did not meet the requirements to be able to go forward because of human expectations and also even maybe technical expectations. So Orengo and the company should stop using BBI as a ransom to President Uhuru Kenyatta and the people of Kenya. BBI is not the soul and mind of this nation, Miriam. No, because at this point, Miriam, we need
Okay, all right, very well. Sorry, we apologize for that. Douglas has suffered a bit of a technical hitch there, but I think his point is home. Yes, indeed. But, you know, his wife did not make these sentiments, his children also. So let's not drag them into this conversation. But I do understand where you're coming from. Thank you so much, Musa Abdi Haji, Douglas Kirimi, Jevon Karanja, and Professor Jared Onyari. And as I reminded us earlier, that today is International Women's Day. We shall be coming back at 11 a.m., where we shall be looking at how the BBI addresses the issue of women in this country and also women in leadership generally. Let's look at, how that has fared on in this country. But at 10, Dr. David Matanga shall be coming with the editor's memo. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning.